Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another early morning edition of Good Morning Soul. It is actually 6 a.m. right now, and I couldn't sleep, so I thought I'd watch a short film and make a video about it. Um, for those who don't know, when I announced this series, I announced also that it was gonna be a way for me to talk about short films. Not that I'm this huge short film connoisseur or anything. It's just something I've always kind of wanted to, dust off and try. And the reason, I don't even watch that many short films is, because I can't make reviews about it because the reviews would literally be 4 minutes long. I've done a little things here and there that I've tried to do with it. It never really worked out, but ever since I started this series, I thought it would be a way for me to tackle short films. And so, I just took a look at the Oscar list for the past couple years, and I was like, hey, that's a good amount of short films to grab. So I wrote down all the short films nominated from 2017 to 2015, and that's 15 movies or short films. And so I was like, hey, let's just do it. And so the first one I wanted to tackle. This was in the 2017 Oscar list. It is called Watu Wote, which is pronounced All of Us. And for these films, it's almost kind of hard to talk about them because if you talk about the plot at all, it's almost spoiler territory because there's not that much going on in terms of what's going on here. There's not a whole lot of plot. And this is actually a very, very serious movie. Just to describe what's going on, basically is about religious tension between Kenya and in there we have Christians and Muslims, and there's a huge divide here. The story follows a Christian woman who is going. It would have really been easy for them to talk about this with some kind of story that involves military or politics, but they just followed a random Christian woman who is visiting her sick mom. Her family was just killed by Muslims, as she puts it, which obviously people who aren't ignorant know all Muslims are not terrorists. That is this huge, terrible misconception. All Christians are not like the pro-Baptist church. It is that big a divide. And this movie completely shows that. This woman who is talking, and this is going to be spoiler heavy, by the way. So if you're not trying to get spoiled, this would be a good time to click off the video. But so in this movie, she's on this bus full of Muslims, and she's talking to this guy, and the guy's like, what happened to you? Where are you going? She's like, oh, I'm visiting my mom, and she basically just told him off. She was like, my family was killed by you, Muslims, and it's this very gasp moment. And so we see them all get back on the bus, and not too long after, they get a terrorist attack where the terrorists line up everyone that is on the bus. They're just shooting random ass people, and they're basically like, hey, which one of you are Christians? We're going to kill them. And out of the kindness in their heart, one of the people on the bus puts a headdress on our main character to try to pass her off as Muslim. She was also holding a cross that she held on to for majority of the film to pray. She takes that from her, so they really tried to hide the fact that she's Christian from these terrorists, and they start just shooting random people. They start shooting other Muslims, which is even the people on the bus are pointing out what the fuck are you doing? And they're that radical extremists. They are that fucking evil. And it comes to a point where the guy that she blamed for, that she basically just threw her weight on, which I get, when you're in a situation where your family dies, you're gonna point fingers, especially if they died. Like, I don't know the circumstances of their death, but I assume they died for being Christian as well. So, like, if it happened anything like it was on this bus, like, it's like you're gonna point fingers. But the guy that she pointed the finger at stood up for her. Everyone stood up for her. No one, like, ratted her out. And there was a powerful quote by one sir who said, "If you're gonna kill them, you're gonna have to kill all of us," which is where the title of the film comes in. And following that, they basically scatter once police shows up, and they like literally, because one of the guys, he couldn't do it. Like, he couldn't kill this random Muslim guy who was saying, "This is not what the Quran told you. This is like complete bullshit." And if I was a woman, like, there was a little bit of like, "Hey, these people are dying for you, lady. Maybe you should stand up and say you're a Christian." But that, we don't get to that part. The police show up. They all get back on the bus, and literally one of the terrorists just shoots the guy in the back, the teacher I was talking about earlier. And it, goes to text, says he died. It mentioned earlier, like, he just mentioned earlier that his fifth child was on the way. His fifth child was born without a father. And then the final scene is our main character, assumingly talking with his family, who are obviously Muslim, and it is them hand in hand, kind of peacefully walking. It was a very powerful movie for the 20 so minutes that it is. And oh god, the credits scene is literally them. The credits is literally the team of people who worked on this watching the fact that their movie got nominated for an Oscar, and they are just freaking out. And it's one of those moments where it's just pure joy. You're just watching all these people just bounce up and down with celebration. I love that. That was great. I love that. For a 20 minutes of movie, I got more of an experience I have in a lot of major films. I've seen movies like Riddle Room, which I've reviewed on my channel, where it literally takes place in one location, and within that location, they are literally not doing much with lighting. They're not doing that much at all. And then we have a movie like this, where it's like shot day and night, separate places. This was obviously not a easy place to film. So yeah, big props on this movie. Like, in what it could do in 20 minutes, entire films have not been able to do, at least for me personally. I feel that way. And I rented this movie, or I believe I rented it. I think I actually bought it on Amazon Prime, which was the only place I could find it. But for like $2, I don't know if I get to have that forever or not. But for $2 to a movie that actually like could use the money, like, whereas I've like rented movies and I've been like, they don't need my money. So this is like, it's like when you buy like a album on Bandcamp or something. It's like, oh, my money's actually going to a needed place for once. Cool. Like, I'm not just throwing money at like $1 billion industry. Cool. So yeah. Anyway, if I were to rate this movie, I'd give it a 7 out of 10. I hope that these aren't all like amazing 7 out of 10s. But if they are, then maybe I'll become a bigger short film kind of guy. But we'll see. I have a lot of films to go through. But anyway, until then, thank you for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow with another episode. And until then, with that, I leave you.